All right. Today I have the pleasure of talking with David Steadman. He's got a great thing going. It's called the Houston Hockey Community. HoustonHockeyCommunity.org, correct?
Correct.
HoustonHockey.org, actually. So
Houston
David,
Hockey Dog.
tell me about this cool thing you got going and how it started.
Yeah. So that's great. Thanks for asking and thanks for having me. So the Houston, I gotta backtrack a little bit here. So I moved here back in 1996. I'm originally from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Obviously, being from there, you get a lot of exposure to the game of hockey. Uh, you're playing in the street, you're playing in the basement, you're playing in the backyard, you're playing in the wintertime, you're playing at school, you're playing at Boy Scouts, Boy Cubs, all of it, right? Boys and girls, everybody's playing hockey. And anyway, so I grew up around the entire game, and then of course, by the time I was 19, 20, I kind of only played recreational hockey. Moved here when I was 30 years old. Definitely wasn't coming here unless there was some kind of hockey presence because it's just part of my DNA, if you will. And there was, and we had the Houston Aeros were here. They were the IHL at the time, and later became the AHL. Um, years Several years ago, the Houston Aeros left altogether, and there was no professional hockey, and with no professional hockey, the following of youth and other adults, you know, just dwindled down to a level that hockey was now no longer a thing here in Houston, other than just regular men's leagues and some youth hockey organizations. But I mean, if there's no pro hockey for kids to go to, or hockey for kids to see on a larger scale, they just weren't participating in it at all. So I had a furniture rental business here for the last decade. Sold it a couple of years ago. Uh, could have could have very easily just sailed off into the sunset there, but they all look the same after a while. And anyways, I just felt that listening to everybody I play hockey with, oh, why don't we have a pro team? And how come our hockey community is not bigger? And will we ever get there again? And this light kind of went on. It's like, well, we can't just talk about it for it to happen. We have to do something as a community to make it happen. Let's not complain that we don't have it. Let's not just expect somebody else to do something about it. Let's do it all together. So my wife and I founded a nonprofit 501(c)(3) organization and named it Houston Hockey Community. The concept of this is for everybody in the current community and everybody that's interested in hockey to just kind of get involved. 501(c)(3) organizations are not owned and operated by any one individual. A 501(c)(3) organization, a nonprofit organization, it may be founded by somebody, but it has no ownership. It is for a community, and everybody has a piece of it. Everybody has a say in it. Everybody has a voice, right? And it's so the Houston Hockey Community is an organization for everybody to share their feedback and be constructive and put their input in and say, I think we need more kids hockey. What do we do? Well, let's get them some sticks. Okay, well, where are they going to play? Well, let's play in your house. How are we going to do that? Well, we'll bring the nets. Well, I don't have any sticks. Well, we'll bring the sticks. Oh, can you organize some people and we could play hockey? Oh, well, I could do that, right? So little simple things like that. Participation from, just one individual, a champion, right? You just need kind of community champions, if you will. So it's that. To teach kids how to play, we did build a facility here in Houston, and it's not a large facility; it's about 4,000 square feet, and it's got two areas. Well, we just kind of repurposed it a little bit where we put in some synthetic ice that we're kind of excited about, where this ice will actually work as real ice, only without having them to go to an ice rink or you know pay join a league or anything like that. Kids can come and learn to skate on the synthetic ice. We also have a dry land area, which is kind of like a floor hockey area, just for them to run around in their running shoes. We could teach them how to play there. Um, and then there's a shooting area as well for them to shoot live pucks into targets. So, and then we've got an area around us that they can just play street hockey, which is what we all grew up playing, right? And that's how we kind of learned to love it. So, with hockey, it is it's a game that all kids can get involved in. They don't have to be have any hockey knowledge at all. It is a sport that is available for kids all ages. They can run, they and hold a little miniature hockey stick and chase a ball around. That's perfect. They're a hockey player, right? Our programs invite all of that. Our community outreach goes a little further that we want to go into the inner city areas and go to churches or schools that the kids don't really have any real after school program where we could take the sport to them and give these kids something to really engage in. And I know that we're in the baseball USA here, and there's baseball and there's football and there's soccer, and I know those are the big sports, right? Um, with I like baseball for a kid. So I played baseball growing up as well, right? And that was our kind of our summer thing, hockey in the winter, baseball in the summer. And I'll always remember, I'm 6 years old, and we didn't have t-ball at the time. That's unfortunately how old I am, right? T-ball wasn't a thing,
It
right?
wasn't invented yet.
No, it wasn't invented yet, right? And so you're 6 years old, and some kids throwing the ball at you, and you're getting beat 90% of the time, right? So I guess you were involved in the game. But I just remember going out, okay, go play out in center field or left field or whatever, and you're out there and like you're swarming off gnats and everything else, but you're not the if the ball came to you, that would be great. But it just never did. So you're out there for 30 minutes as a kid, picking daisies, basically, coming back in, and then you got to go bat. And let's say you're the number nine hitter, right? That's three up, three down. Let's say it's three up, three down the next inning or whatever. It's not. You're 45 minutes in between actual engaging in active play, physical play. And I get it that you're part of the team and this is just how it is and it's appreciation and it's bonding and all that other stuff. And baseball is a beautiful game. I love the sport, right? But if you're a kid, you kind of lose interest really quick
Hmm.
because you're not really doing it. You're not engaged enough. And with hockey, you don't have a choice. You're
Yeah.
getting engaged, especially in smaller areas of floor hockey. That ball's bouncing to you somewhere, and
Hmm.
you're going to have to do something. And you're going to have to make a pass, or you're going to have to kind of run around to try to get it away from somebody. So you're constantly engaged. The ball's always moving. And any of the kids that we've had come in that have never played the sport before, within the first 15 minutes, they're running around, they're giggling, they're laughing, they're having a blast. They just try to take the ball away from each other and try to get that goal, right? And it's a beautiful thing because it gives them confidence, it gives them camaraderie, it gives them teamwork, it gives them enjoyment, it lets them be a kid and have fun, right? And this is how we can grow the hockey community is by taking it to new areas, introduce it, share it, spread, spread the joy, spread the love of the game, right? If and the Houston hockey community is designed for everybody to help out with that mission and spreading the love, spreading the joy, sharing it, taking advantage of what's been created.
Okay, so that's great. So what does it look like? What's your ultimate vision for your organization? Like,
The ultimate vision is to be we've started it. It's at its infant stage, if you will. We had our grand opening in June,
okay.
but our mission is that more people get involved and the community grows and the Houston hockey community isn't just within Houston; it goes out to the greater area, and it helps bring awareness to the sport. And if we can get you know, 5,000 more kids playing the game of hockey, that would be wonderful because now communities are going to see, and certain districts and precincts are going to see that, hey, we should build an ice rink for the kids,
Hmm.
and so my goal is to get the counties and the city involved to support a community rink build where the kids can really enjoy it. It could be a multi-purpose. It doesn't have to be just for ice, right? You can have other things in there. Um, they're building baseball fields, they're building football fields, they're building huge stadiums, right?
Sure, sure.
But they're not doing anything for this sport. And honestly, if we want to be a hockey town, we have to build it from the
Hmm.
grassroots up. We have to prove that we are a hockey town as well. So my goal would be to unite every group, every individual group that's out there right now, that is already involved in hockey, to be part of um, what we found it, not necessarily umbrella under it, but become part of it. Use our organization to help showcase what they do.
Perfect. Okay. So tell me about this. You said you had was a furniture rental business, correct, before this?
Correct.
So
Yes.
how did the lessons you learned from that business apply to what you do now with your new organization you're building?
Oh, okay. So that's a good question. The one thing I've never been really good at is having patience, but my furniture rental business, uh, taught me to, if I believed in what the goal was for the organization, it was easier for me to have patience in it. And I really believed in what the business was that I had, the model, and with the patience. And trust me, the first couple of years was not easy for sure. I mean, it was no sleep and money stretched real thin, and how are we gonna do this? And 10 years later, we were able to sell the business. It became a viable commodity, right? And so I learned that, well, if I'm patient with it, if I'm diligent with it, if I stay the course with that, and keep reaching out and uh, networking and marketing and going into the areas where people haven't heard about who we are or what we do, that we can actually share the benefit if they engage in what it is that we have to offer, then it will work out, it will grow. And so I'm using the same application in this nonprofit organization,
Hmm.
that I have to just be patient with it. I'll take the I'll take the up we'll take the upfront uh uh struggles, and continue to go out into the community and just stay focused on what the mission is. And through time, I believe that we'll get to that finish line.
So that's great. I think a lot of businesses have a sort of a general idea of what success looks like, but many businesses don't define it as like you did with your past business, and you have a definition of success with your current business of like, okay, this should turn into something that is a commodity that I can sell. Now that doesn't work with this current organization, but that's still the idea of having a destination and knowing what success looks like is such an important part of success, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, you almost have to have a crystal ball. Yeah, and sometimes I look at it, it's like, this is not working. I shake it and I realize it's a snow globe, right? But it you have to be a visionary, and you have to really believe in the cause, or yeah, really, this is a cause now, right? I work for the cause. I don't work for an organization. I don't work for a company. I work for the cause, to grow the community, to you know get hockey on the map. So I work for the word hockey and community, and yeah. So I believe that with due diligence and patience and resilience, you can get there. You can't get there alone, and you
Hmm.
can't necessarily get there if you're engaging with the people that aren't going to help you get there. So you have to kind of be selective through that process. And a lot of people will say, "Hey, I'll help you," and sure, great, come and help. And then you start doing the work, right? Like, well, I didn't realize that's work. Said I'd help, but I thought it was just gonna be fun. I thought it was gonna shoot some bucks around and like, well, no, we have to like go out in the community and find kids to do this with, right? And
Yeah,
so it's gonna take a while to kind of um build that team that has the passion, that has the same vision to march with that mission
that's
to grow
great.
the Houston hockey community.
So do you think that there's a difference in um, motivating volunteers versus motivating people that were on your team that worked for you in your past? Because I like this parallel, trying to draw parallels and differences between a nonprofit organization that you run now and a successful business you ran before.
Yeah, okay. So another good question. I figured you would have a few of them, and so 100% on the good questions. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
so there is a difference, right? So with a nonprofit, especially 501(c)(3) organization, and its board of directors, there's it at our phase, at our stage of the 501(c)(3) is like I said, it's just starting out, right? And so generally board of directors will need to kind of bring something to the table, besides passion, knowledge, and a common passion for, you know, growing the cause. They need to bring a little money to the table sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Where as a um as an associate of a company that you're getting paid to do your job. Well, if we were paying an employee to do their job, we have a job description. It's clearly defined, it's clearly written. And this is, you don't, if you're not going to do your job, you're going to get fired, right?
Mhm.
I'm paying you to do it. Well, so with in a company that you're getting paid to do it, you need that money to live off of, right? You count on that money and you don't necessarily want to go look for another job. If you like your job, you're just going to do your job. And if you're not, you understand that, hey, you can lose your job, and that means no money. Well, with a nonprofit organization, we do have a set of guidelines, and the parameters are pretty. You're kind of taking an oath that,
Mm.
hey, I'm going to take this oath. I'm going to be dedicated to the mission. I'm going to support the mission. I'm going to do everything that it reads to get it done, and I'm there. I'm committed. My loyalty is there for the mission. I love my team. I'll build this. Now, if you're not, and now if they don't do that, mm, okay, hey, it's not working out. Yeah, we need you to do this. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well, no big deal, right? They haven't lost anything but time, you know.
Mm.
And in some cases, it's not a full-time thing for them, it's the part-time thing, right? So where you want to get people to de designate so many hours a month to support something they're not getting paid to do, finding those individuals to do it, it's it's far and few between.
Mm. Yeah. So could that be then one of your biggest challenges right now is trying to find those people that are motivated, bought in, passionate, that are willing to
Yeah.
volunteer some of their time? Is that one of your
Yes.
challenges?
Yes, at the building stage. Now, because we are a 501(c)(3) organization, we have the ability to get grants. We have the ability to get sponsors, right? Um, we're tax exempt, right? Uh, we have this ability to do that, but because we're new, and we don't have a lot to show what we've done, when when grantors go and look at what you've done, look at your social media pages, send some examples, look at your 990s for the year, right? Your financials. You're in this building stage, you don't really have it. Now, once you start to get grants and your programs continue to grow and you've got local sponsors and donors, and now you have funds in your operations through your donors and your sponsors and people that pledge money organization. Well, now you can hire staff,
Hmm.
and now they have a job, and they have two jobs. They have a job, the commitment to the board and to the mission, and a job they're actually getting money for. So now it becomes something different. So until we get to that point, it's all you're working with people that are either buying in to help support the cause with their own money and their own time, or you've got volunteers that are uh, are limited just because of other commitments that they might have.
Sure, sure. So do you, it's funny, I think that there's probably parallels here too. It seems like you've got to get funding, you need to show that you've got a viable idea and organization and volunteers and buy-in. And to get buy-in, you need funding. Like it's one of those circles. I feel like that's the same with business. Businesses have a concept or an idea, and they want it. They need customers to prove up that idea. But to get customers, they need to build a prototype, and they need to scale to get the revenue. So it's sort of a circle, and at some point you just got to start. What is that?
Mhm.
Was that kind of how you what you did?
Yeah, I mean, an idea is a good idea and sounds like a nice idea, but it's not a great idea until you implement it.
What have you learned when you? That's brilliant. What have you learned along that lines with? Have you had any bumps along the road with Houston hockey? Like, hey, I never anticipated this was going to be an issue, or I really learned a lot from that experience. Any ahas or surprises?
So, so I've had several businesses in my time. I've been a risk taker my whole life,
Yeah.
and I've never been a corporate person. I don't do well inside of a box or a corporate structure because I'm way outside the box, right?
Oh,
Um, so so nothing really surprises me anymore.
no.
Um, but things tend to disappoint me, right? So when I'm I'm disappointed that not as many individuals are engaged in helping to grow the program or volunteering and say, hey, what can I help you with? And I
Hmm.
can count them on both hands, right? And we've been kind of building this for the last year and a half, right?
Okay.
And and in some cases we hear things like, well, what's the point? Oh, the point is this.
Hmm.
Well, good luck with that, right? So I'm disappointed. I get disappointed when, hey, I know it's a great idea, and the community's been asking, hey, we want pro hockey, we want this, we want more hockey, we want all these things, but you know, they're not offering to help to get it there. So I'm
Uh-huh.
disappointed. I'm disappointed with that. Everybody wants to eat the bread, but not a lot of people want to help go get to the store, get the ingredients, or even help bake the bread. They're happy to, you know, they're happy to dive in. Oh, this is delicious bread, right? I love it.
Yes.
Great. Let me know next time you make it, right?
Well, and I think your idea is revolutionary in that people haven't thought about this from, if you say, okay, we want hockey in Houston, then okay, well, let's go after a hockey team. Let's do XYZ to promote hockey, whatever. But you're saying no, we are literally going to get more people involved in hockey. That's going to be a great benefit to the youth and to our communities. And that is going to, in a grassroots way, make Houston a big hockey town. Would that be a correct capture?
Yeah. You gotta farm. You gotta cultivate it. You gotta get your hands down there and get it dirty. We lost our crop. We had it, and our crop and our flock, ended up in Iowa, right? So, and we did try. There was an effort with a junior team, but it was a branch that the kids had to pay to play, and it was an expensive. It didn't work, right? The expectation was here, and what was provided was here, right? So the timing wasn't good for that. We do have opportunities for uh, other minor league teams here in the Houston greater area. There is rink development by somebody that's being built up in Richmond, and uh and that will be able to house a some type of junior or a pro minor league pro team of sort, whether it be a but the capacity is maybe 2 to 3 thousand people, right? So it would be good to start with that, and but that's still a couple years out. How much more will we go backwards before that time actually happens? So you can't, ice rinks take a long time to build and they take millions of dollars, like 40
Hmm.
million bucks, right? Synthetic ice. Synthetic ice is a whole nother program. With synthetic ice, it for a full size rink is maybe $300,000 plus the building, right? Now you're not going to get any pro team in there, you're not going to get any seats in there, but you can get synthetic ice in, you know, 5 different areas in the greater Houston area. So call it, Pearland. So you got something in the south, something in the north, something in the east, something in the west, right? Um, it brings kids there that they can actually learn to skate. And synthetic ice, good quality synthetic ice gives them that ability. So it is actually one of our programs, and it is something that we do need funding for.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but we could build immediately, and kids could be skating within 6 months
Wow.
in 5 different areas if we were to get the funding for it.
Okay, that's yeah. And I didn't know much about synthetic ice. I remember going to the training facility in Utah where they do the ski jumping. And
Yeah,
it might not even be the same product, but they could ski jump all year long that way and practice and off the
yeah,
type
yeah.
of
So so there's good manufacturers, and there's basic stuff that you just kind of put in your garage just to kind of work on small little skills, right?
sure.
There's a couple European companies that manufacture it, which is Premier, that they use it for, you know, professional development,
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
it is available to us. So we are working on that
That's
as we
great.
speak.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, so you started and run businesses successfully, and now this organization. What's some good advice for somebody that is just starting out? What are a couple of big pieces of wisdom you have from your based on your experiences?
Well, that's really open because it all depends on what the business is. But I can tell you this, that unless you're willing to fail and put a lot of time in and forget about vacations, forget about time with your kids, just forget about time with your friends, extracurricular activities, just all this stuff just kind of goes away. You make a commitment to start a business, that business is an infant. It's a baby. You have to do everything for it all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have made one of the largest commitments that you'll make ever. And you have to be prepared for all of you know, all of the failures before you have a little taste of success.
Wow. I've never heard that analogy before. An infant. That's actually I really like that a lot. That's a really that paints a lot of visuals of a baby and how much time they take and their constant care. That's brilliant. Well, how do you get yourself through that to where you can start to taste little bits of success? How do you mentally get through that period?
Yeah, so you're going to learn from your mistakes and don't do that again, right? And
Yeah. Yep.
uh, talk to the right people, go to the right networking events, People will share your stories. Um, Ask people for their help.
Hmm.
You know, if I say to you, Warren, hey, can you help me with something? Most of the time you're not going to say, well, that depends. Like, well, sure, I'll help you if I can, right? Will be the answer. At least you'll listen, right?
Yeah.
And humans are that way. And so don't be afraid to kind of ask for that help where you kind of need that help, because you'll kind of get a little bit of guidance, or and you'll be able to share your failure story with them too. And they'll be
Hmm.
like, oh, I know all about that. Here's what I did, right? And so you do have a very big support community there. People people don't want to see you fail. They do want to help each other and you know succeed together, right? Because when they help you, that helps them too, right? When you teach, you learn. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Isn't it funny how people really do want to help? Like it's amazing. But I think to actually ask for help, you have to have some sort of humility. And you mentioned admitting when you failed. I think that's part of the humility in saying, "Hey, look, I don't have all the answers, and you may have some answers I don't have. How, what's your POV on this situation? Agree?
100%. Yeah. I took my own first business ever, and boy, I'll tell you, I suck at it, right? And it's okay to do that if don't say it to the customer that comes in, hey, it's a new business. I'm gonna give you really garbage service and you're gonna hate me. I don't do that, right? But you know, believe in your product, sell your service, believe in your service, believe in you, and believe that any objective that is presented your way, you can overcome it. Doesn't mean you're going to sleep at night, by the way, because you may not do that either for the first couple of years. But really, when you wake up in the morning, you'll find how easy it was to take care of that problem that you were worried about for 3 or 4 hours, tossing and turning in bed like a fish out of water, right? But
Hmm.
you'll figure it out pretty quickly, and you'll
Yeah.
realize, oh, I'm good at this. I'm able to get through it. You become a great problem solver when you have your own business. You don't have a choice. It's just like a parent, right? You become a great parent. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's great. I love that analogy continuing in the sleepless nights, just like with a baby, right? You're gonna have some sleepless nights. It's gonna be hard. I do think you do gain confidence as you push through those problems and like you said, realize, hey, look, I can overcome almost any obstacle if I apply my mind to it and ask for help and am humble and learn from my mistakes.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
That's great. So tell me, if somebody wants to get engaged with you, donate, whatever. I mean, I've got your website up here, houstonhockey.org. What should they go there? Go to the website. But what else? Like what's a good way to engage with you and your great organization you're building here?
I'm always open for a phone call, always open for a text message or an email. Um, obviously like our pages, right? We were all over every social platform that's out there. Like it, follow it. And of course, each one it will be similar in a lot of ways when we post things. Uh, but you stop by the facility, check out what we're doing. When we do something in the field, if it's a street hockey event, come on out. If nothing else, just to watch, because the feeling of the game, the joy of the game can be shared a little through the passion that I have for it and through sharing my experiences. But to go and to watch the evolution of a kid that's never held a stick to put a stick in the hand to like be apprehensive to go get it, like I don't know if I'm going to be any good at it, to all of a sudden touch the ball, they put the ball in the net and they do it on like their first try.
Hmm.
And to see that we're all of a sudden that kid has now got confidence. And if nobody else plays hockey in that family, that kid is now the first at playing hockey in that family. So he was the first, or they were the first at doing something, and now automatically the best hockey player in the family, right?
Yeah.
So, so those are the positive takeaways that are now a given every time a child plays the game for the first time, and it's immediate. It's within the first 3 minutes. You can't do that in any other sport.
Well, that's amazing. I hadn't really thought about it before, but the idea of, if we want to get kids off the couch and off of video games, playing a game where you're not participating most of the time is probably not the best way to do that versus playing a game where you have action all the time. Because if they're playing a video game, they have action all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And their mind is stimulated all the time. They're like back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And that it's that stimulation that releases all these different endorphins in them that just make it addictive, right? Well, hockey can be addictive in a very positive and constructive way. I mean, that same kid that's sitting on the couch, let's say there's five of them, and they're all sitting in the room playing the video games together, and they live in a little cul-de-sac. Well, how about that parent call us and say, "Hey, I noticed that you do a street hockey thing, and it's like it costs nothing, $50 for you to bring that out to me for 2 hours. You'll bring the nets and the sticks and the balls and everything, and my kids can get outside and just start playing street hockey. And you'll bring lemonade too." Like, yeah, we'll do that. For $50, you'll do that? Yes, we'll do that. Well, that's a no-brainer. But what about a person that doesn't have $50, right? Well, okay, well, let's vet that and see. And then if they meet that model, basically a verbal application, if you will, then yeah, let's go to your wherever you are, the third ward or fifth ward or your whatever part of the inner city you're in, and let's make
Yeah.
something happen. Let's get these kids out playing, goofing around, and everybody else is gonna see it, and they're gonna walk over and like, what the heck are you guys doing over here? Like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
there's a stick on the ground right here. Why don't you pick it up and come play? Like, I don't know how to play. Well, just pick up the stick. Come on. I bet you're a natural athlete. Come on, you're on my team. Let's go. Right? And it just it's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful game. We grew up this way, Warren. We grew up the same way. Like, we didn't know what hockey was when we were first born, right? And we just saw the kids doing it. I want to do that, right? And you start doing it because it was everywhere, though, right? Well, it's nowhere here, but if it is somewhere, they will get engaged, and these communities will grow. So a perfect ideal world to me, measurement of success, and I'll just use it this way from street hockey. You go through Canada, anywhere you go in every subdivision, you're going to find a street hockey net sitting in somebody's driveway.
Hmm.
If I could do that here, we've changed the world.
That's awesome. That's a great vision. I'll leave it right there. That's a great idea. And I've learned a lot today of, first of all, about hockey and just the passion you have for it, but how it can really engage people in a different way than some of the other sports. But then also business. I've thoroughly enjoyed your wisdom on business and your perspective. And thank you so much for the time, David. That's
Yeah,
fun.
you're welcome, Warren. Thanks for having me in the conversation, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, for sure. Good luck on your success. I know it's coming your way.
All right, man. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Bye.